Hi, Joe here from willycottage.com, and it's Christmas Advent video Vlogmas. It's day 4 and 5 today. I had issues with my phone yesterday, hence it never got put up, but it's a good thing because I'll show you why. Okay, so here's the bag, back to front. There we go. So I'm just going to look for day 5 and day 6. Oh, 4 and 5 I'm looking for today. Do you know, some days you should have just not bothered getting out of bed. And day 5. Okay, so I'm going to open up day 4 first. Here we go. Let's have a look. Ooh. Okay, it's a hand-dyed braid. Hand-dyed braid. If I can just get it opened up, pull it out ever so gently, and there we have mermaid colours, hand dyed, just silk. There we go. So what I wanted to talk about with this yesterday is there's different ways that you can spin this. I'll just undo a bit for you. So you literally just give it a bit of a waggle. Okay. There are some people out there that can actually spin silks so fine that you can actually do embroidery with it or tapestry with them as well. You can actually do it. You can do it on your drop spindle, is a good way to do it as well. But if you're using your spinning wheel or your drop spindle even, you want to, now I did a video on this not long ago about spinning the fold with fine fibres, and that's really what you want to be doing with this. You want to open up your fibres and even split that in half, okay? Open up a little bit so it becomes wider and thinned out, and you want to spin, fold it over your finger, and you're going to grab it like this, and you're going to tease your triangle. So everyone knows that when you first start spinning off, you want to try and aim for like a triangle, where that's where the thinnest point of the fibre is coming out. And it's the same as well if you want to spin from the fold. But what I'm going to do with this today is a little bit, I'm not going to be doing any spinning on the folds, but yeah, just a silk, really lovely. It's similar properties to a mulberry silk, but mulberry silk's got a very glossy shine to it, whereas a Tussah silk is more of a dulled down version. It's still got a sleek shine to it, but it's more of a satin than a gloss look. Okay, I find this a lot more versatile, and it's probably around about the same price actually to buy Tussah silk and mulberry silk, roughly about the same price. There's all these turquoise and blues and violet purple and their electric purple that I've used in that, which splits all the time. It's got this fuchsia background to it. And then day 5 is this little yellow parcel. I've got the eldest one with me today. So this one is day 5, is purple, silver and blue. And it's been made with merino, a mulberry silk and some angelina in there. So there are some blues, see, you can see them in. And what I thought I would do is just do a little grab a bit. I will spin this up, but I've got my live chat tomorrow, which is Wednesday the 6th, and I thought, well, I'll do my open day 6 tomorrow on my live chat, and I'll spin this up at the same time while I'm having a natter, because my live chats are still going on. So I'm going to take some of this 25 gram roving. Look at that, isn't it pretty? All the different colours of purples and the blues in there as well. Okay, and then the silver, which is mainly from the angelina that's gone in there. And I'm just going to take some of it, not a lot, some of it, and I'm going to take some of my Tussah silk, and I'm going to blend them all together to make some nice little rollags, and I'll spin them tomorrow while I'm on my chat. So I'm just going to split that a little bit more, and I'll point you down, and we'll do a bit of a blending board demo. And this is something you can do at home with a bat that you've maybe got at home, or even from your Christmas advents, and do the same thing. Maybe save that wool for tomorrow, and if you've got a blending board, then you can just rejig it so that you can actually spin. If you're a little bit anxious about spinning a silk on its own, then you can quite easily blend it up. Okay, or alternatively, what you could do is, you know how I've done faux lags before, get 2 knit needles, I'll show you in a minute, but lay your fibre out, and you can use knitting needles and just roll it up ever so gently and make yourself a little faux lag. Only difference is that is you're not drafting the fibres out so they all comb in together. So I'll just point you down and we'll get this done. So I never put my silk layers on first. I always put my wool fibres on first because I find the silk so shy and slippery. Tussah silk's not as slippery as mulberry silk, but it's still got a slippery feel to it. So I'm just going to reblend this. It's already mixed blended anyway, so it doesn't really make any difference to me how it's going to look. I think if it was more segregated in colours, I'd be a little bit, right, I'll do this more carefully and put a bit more planning into it. But because it's such a thin fibre, I can get away with just putting it onto the blending board and ever so lightly just put a skim coat of my batt on my board. Make sure I've got all my gaps filled, because the whole point is so that I can actually blend the silks in with it. I might end up doing all of this if I can fit it in. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. Now what have I done with my brush? There we go. Here's my brush, and I'm just going to pack him down as you do. All that glitter in there as well. Okay, so now I'm going to get my silks, and I'm just going to follow down the board like you would do anyway. And you can either take this all off once you've done it and make it into a mini batt and draft it out and prepare it like you would do a normal batt, or like me in a minute, make yourself some pretty little rollags. The best thing about Christmas Advents is that you can experiment a little bit more than what you would normally do with your really expensive batts that you buy. I'm going to use some of this blue. And once I've done this, I will show you how to make some faux lags. So there's probably the equivalent of about 5 grams of silk on there. And once again, get my brush, cut the colours on that now, and pull that down. Ooh. Right, get some more of my mini batt and layer on top of that again. I just find by doing this, I make it a bit easy for myself to spin it. It's not a fibre that I've spun that often. I have tried it, and it is nice to spin up, but it's not something I do a lot of because it's a supply that I usually have in for putting in my batts, not for me to personally spin. Genuinely, I don't get a lot of time to do much spinning these days, because I'm always doing stuff for the shop. Right, I think that's a nice layer. I'm just going to brush that down. I might do another layer. Just pack that down. Yep, I'm going to go back over this same piece I've got again. I'm going to take some more from this mini batt that I've got over here. There we go. I'm going to pack that down and put another layer of silk on there. What you could do to make sure that if you're using these mini batts and you're doing it with the silk, then I would advise what you want to do is roughly guess that you're going to get, because it's not going to be heavy. It's definitely, because you've got 25 grams of the batt and you've got 25 grams of Tussah silk roving. Tussah silk top, not roving. And what I would do with this is maybe split it into 4, maybe 5 bundles of each, and then blend them in 4 sections, and then take 2 Rolags off of each board, which will give you a really nice weight proportion. So I've got another piece of silk here, so I'm just going to again run that all the way down. And then that way you end up with about 50 grams of Rolags, which is a nice weight for doing a little project. Take this piece off here because it's not stuck itself in, and do that again. There we go. And I might add a little bit more silk in there, just a bit. Take off this little section here. And then I'm going to, after this, add in one more layer of wool. Split it in, that piece that I had, in half, and then start building up on top. It just helps, for me, I feel that it helps keep your shiny silky fibres trapped in there when you just give it a quick skim coat of wool fibre on the top. That'll do. Right. So I'm just going to get my dowels. I've got one for underneath and one for on the top with this set that I have got. But generally I usually use a size 12 to 15 mil knitting needle, you know, the really chunky ones. So you just lift up ever so slightly and pull down along the tops of the tines, and then there you go, pull it so when it gets to the bottom it's actually showing the tines through the teeth, which is helping you draft those fibres through so you don't end up with really clumpy bits. And you don't want to pull it so it's too tight. And I'm just going to run that off, lift that up, and then just gently, I'm not putting any pressure on my hand, because if you squeeze you end up with lots of tension put into it, but all you're doing is just finishing off that. Look at that. See? From that mini batt blended with similar colour properties, adds to that that silk, and then with a shiny Rolag. So I'm just going to take this out, and if you haven't done it too tightly then it should just pop out, not a problem. So I'm just going to take out the third one. There we go. So I'll stick them to one side. I'll take the others off in a minute, but I just want to show you how glossy this looks. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? See what the difference makes, and you just add a different element to your fibre. That'll be absolutely gorgeous to spin off tomorrow when we live chat. So that's one. Let's do it, the last two. Should be able to get 2 more off of this without a problem. And just lift up my fibres. Okay, rest them there. Push the one underneath over. On a second, there's still some fibres trapped in here where they've not been completely lifted. Bear with me a second. Come on. There we go. Right. So I always make sure I've got one sticking out further than the other. Can you see? I've got 2 here, and there's one under here that's come back a little bit further. See that gap there? So I'm just going to roll them over, lift up the fibres and come back a bit, roll them over together, lift up my fibres and draft it down the board. And you can hear the fibres pulling against the tines of your carding cloth. And that means that you're actually drafting the fibres out. Okay, so I'm just going to lift it up ever so slightly and run off the last of those fibres. And just with my hand, not even clenched, it's just wrapped around. You can see that when I'm doing it, look, see, you can see my hand is, I'm not making any tension on there whatsoever. Pull that out, pull that one out, and then this last one, and there we go, is another shiny little rolag, and it's probably about 5 grams in weight if you're lucky, which makes nice little quick spins, especially if you're using your Turkish spindle for doing them, which I might actually do that tomorrow instead of using my spinning wheel for a change. Nice little project for me to carry on doing while I'm doing other bits and pieces in between. So last piece now, I want to draft those fibres out. I'm going to go all the way up to the top because I want to make sure that the fibres are evenly. Now you've got this fluffy piece here that's come off the top. Just turn that around and keep dragging it down the board so you lose that fluffy messy bit from the top. It happens every time. There's nothing you can do to stop it. It's just the way that it works. So you take that off. Now come off the last piece, see the fluffy piece along here, and then turn you at the same time as pulling down, and it'll help even out and distribute those fibres down your board. Okay, the last one always looks the messiest, always does. Okay, so again, push my dowel down, take out one of my other dowels. I'm going to hold that so it doesn't fall out with the rest of it, and there we go. Some nice silk and wool and mulberry silk and Angelina with extra Tussah silk blended on the board. So let's just quickly move this out of the way. No doubt one of my dogs will get the tail stuck in that later on. And I'm just going to use a little bit. I don't need a lot. All right, I'm going to split that again in half. You're lucky if there's a couple of grams in there. I'm just going to ever so gently open up the fibres, gently draft it up, draft it a little bit more just to thin out my fibres. Okay, and then I'm going to get some of the silk, not a lot because it's only a tiny piece, that's more than enough, but I'm going to draft it up so it's nearly the same length as what I've got here, and then I'm going to open it up. Okay, and open up those fibres and layer them on top. There we go. So I'm going to just get my dowels again, put that there, move the cup out of the way before I knock it over, and I put that one underneath there, and I'm just going to do what I would normally do but without the drafting side of it, and just, you can pull that up a little bit if you want to. You can do this with a pair of knit needles. Okay, and then ever so gently turn your hands around, and what you're doing is getting those fibres to just stick in there together. Take one of those out. And you've got yourself a little faux lag. You can see the silk just coming out, but you're not going to get the same embellished look, but you've got the same sort of principle that you can still spin with if you're unsure about spinning with a silk or a fine fibre like a rose or a pineapple or a pearl fibre, lotus fibre. What else can you get out there? Nettle fibres. Yeah, there's lots of other type of fine plant fibres out there. They've got a nice sheen to them. Pearl fibre, pineapple, nettle, rose, faux cashmere, faux mohair. You can do those sort of ones like that, that same sort of principle. So there you go, that's today's, very quick, 20 minutes. I shall see you tomorrow for day 6, but it'll be on my live chat at 12:30 tomorrow. I may do a live chat at the weekend in regards to one of these, if I come up with another one where it's 2 different types of fibres and then do both of them on the same day. But that's probably what I will do next time, because it's a lot of work putting these Vlogmases out, and I've got other things I need to get on with. Anyway, so yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow on the 6th of December for day 6, Open Advent. Take care of yourself, speak to you soon. Bye bye.